and welcome to the School of Mass Communication Alumni at Work. I'm your host, Sarah Jones, and today we have Dionne King joining us. Dionne, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you.
Wonderful. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
So could you tell us your job title and location?
Yes, I'm a producer for Fox 16 KRK Channel 4.
Okay.
Morning show producer.
Awesome. Wow. What year did you graduate from UALR?
I received my bachelor's degree in 2012 and my master's degree in 2014. Both of my degrees are from UALR.
Very cool. So what was the title of your bachelor's and your master's degree?
My bachelor's is in mass communications and my master's degree is in journalism.
Okay, perfect for what you're doing. So yeah, that's great. What are some of your responsibilities as a news producer?
Well, I have several. I am responsible for writing all the scripts that the anchors read on the show. If the anchors get up from the desk and move, I'm responsible for coordinating that and telling them where to go, when to do it. In addition to that, I have to, every story is rewritten for morning show purposes. In addition to that, I build graphics and I put information on the web, especially if we have breaking news. A lot of times in the mornings, we're on a limited we have a limited staff, so I kind of hold the title of engineer, director, help my director. A lot of times we get together and figure out how we want to change things up in the show, different camera shots, that kind of thing. I'm responsible for booking all the guests on my show. Throughout the week I have 20 guests. Because I produce a 2-hour show by myself.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm responsible for making sure all of those guest spots are filled, and that includes getting information, making sure visuals are where they should be. Once the guests arrive, I make sure that they know how to access our studio, where they should go over with them what we discussed previously. It entails a lot, but I love it. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. So you kind of do a little bit of everything, it sounds like.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
So you mentioned you were a non-traditional student. How was that for you? Did you feel like it was a pretty normal experience or you were included?
I felt very included. At the time, most of my classmates in mass communications, I think they were a little older, so I didn't feel
out of place.
Yeah, it wasn't an uncomfortable feeling.
Right.
We did have some traditional students with us, but it was a good mixture.
Yeah.
So
That's
it wasn't a bad experience at all.
How was it juggling family, school, work all at the same time?
It was challenging.
Right.
It was very challenging because you still have to have a good balance between work and home. But the good thing is my family understood how important this was for me. That's the reason I quit my job to do it.
Right.
And a lot of times if we wanted to do family events, I couldn't because I had to study or I had to shoot something. But it was challenging, but it was worth it, and they were understanding about it. So
So when you came out on the other side, it was paid off?
Oh yeah. It was, I would say it was a bigger celebration than what most people have just because of the challenges that we dealt with during the process of me trying to get my degree.
That's really cool. So do you have any advice for students considering a career in mass comm?
I would say always make sure that you carry yourself in a way where people want to hire you, because it is really, it's sometimes difficult to break in this field.
Oh, yeah.
And so you don't need to go in with something going against you. Always be prepared. You never know who you will run into.
Right.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid if you're able to do an internship. Make sure that you ask questions, even if sometimes you already know the answer.
Right.
Just ask questions so that people can see that you're inquisitive, that you want to learn. Don't wait for the people at the station or wherever your internship is. Don't wait for them to ask you to do something. Jump right in and say, hey, what can I do? Do you need me to do this? Do you need me to do that? Those are the kind of things that people want to see. They want to see your willingness. They don't want to have to walk you through everything. especially if it's a lot going on. I know in newsrooms, especially during breaking news, during election season, offer to make phone calls. Hey, can you give me a list? I can call, you know, that kind of thing. Those are the things that will make you stand out from other people, from other interns who may not know to do that.
Right. And also, would you say it's important to not burn any bridges in the process?
Definitely, definitely. Even once you land a job, it's important to never burn bridges, because people, mass communications, the media business is really a small world, and most of the time the people that you come in contact with here, you'll meet them somewhere down the road.
Right.
I'm still in touch with several people who I've worked with who's moved on, and I have good relationships with them, because again, you never know who you'll need to call on. You'll always need somebody to give you a good reference.
Exactly. So you got your bachelor's and your master's here. Do you have any advice for students that are about to graduate and they are needing a job? Any advice about how to go about that process?
I would say don't give up. The important thing is to keep making phone calls. Don't just submit your resume and sit back and wait for the phone to ring, because most likely that won't happen. You'll have to make sure that the employer knows that you want that job and that they know who you are.
Well, Dionne, is there anything we haven't covered today that, you know, any advice or anything on your mind?
Not that I could think of, nothing in particular. I would say back to the advice to students, just stay encouraged and don't give up that dream, because had I given up, I never would have been where I am now. I got some discouragement when I told my family, other family members, I was going to quit my job to go to school full time, and they were like, "Are you crazy?" But if you know that this is what you want, you have to fight for it, and you have to stay the course so that you can get it, because you will forever wonder what would have happened had I not tried.
Exactly.
So.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dionne, for being here today.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. And thank you, audience, for joining us for MassComm Alumni at Work. We'll see you next time.